Hi, Matt with etrailer. If you have a 2024 Ford Expedition and you're looking for a bike rack that's not going to take up much space on the back of your vehicle or in your garage for when you're not riding around with your family, then the Benton ShiftShow is going to be a great option for you. Now, what's nice about a hanging style bike rack like this is they're relatively lightweight, they don't take up much room, and for the most part, are really easy to install. When you are installing it, you want to make sure you're putting your anti-rattle bolt in. You're going to be topping that up with a nut. Try not to drop it like I did. And this is what's going to help you get a better performance out of this. Because how this is working is it's preventing it from rattling around in your receiver so it doesn't get damaged or your bikes aren't going to be moving around as much. And then we need to top it off with our lock cord. So we're going to have that extra security. Now with this on, we can really move on to really loading your bikes on here. But something I wanted to mention real quick, what really makes this unique is a lot of times with any type of hanging style bike rack, if you do have a tilt function, you can only use that function when it's unloaded. With this, we can actually load our bike on here and tilt it back. So I'm going to do that real quick, just by putting it in the up position, just like that. And now I'm going to grab my bike. Just make sure you undo these straps. Doesn't take much time to do. And when you're loading this bike, something you might find is with anything with a smaller frame, and you have this cup holder on it, you might find it kind of gets in the way of the center. That's why larger frame bikes are going to play a little bit nicer with this. Now, if you have any alternative frame bikes, that might be a little bit difficult to get on here. You might actually have to use a bike adapter bar to do that. And then we'll just come back through with these straps and put it into place. That's something I do like about this is it's just a relatively simple design, and it does a good job at holding it down. One complaint I do hear a lot of people though with this type of style bike rack is going to be that front wheel is going to move quite a bit. As you can see right here, there's nothing holding it in place. But that's going to be a benefit for when we do tilt it back. Show you what I mean. We do that now. It kind of makes that handlebar pivot for us, so it's not going to be in the way. And that's going to allow us to open up our hatch, which is actually pretty impressive for the Expedition, because most bike racks, you're going to have the bikes getting in the way, even with those platform styles. So this is something that's really making it shine. This is going to be great if you go into the store to pick up some groceries, or if you want to get ready for your ride, you can take a seat here, tie your shoes, and then grab your helmet and go out riding. But when we close this back up, I can put this back into the seated position. And that's something else I wanted to talk about too, is we want to make sure we're not overloading this, and you can actually find that weight capacity in the description below. But from here, let's kind of go and get a few measurements to make sure we get an idea of how this is sitting back here. The first measurement I want to get is going to be the overall length it adds to your vehicle. And that's going to be roughly 39 inches. So compared to some 4x carriers, especially the platform ones, this is actually going to be more compact. Now the next thing we want to think about is going to be that ground clearance. And typically you're not really worried about this section up here. Most people are going to be worried about this shank at the bottom. And if we measure from here, that's going to be just about 20 inches. And with the Expedition being a little bit of a taller vehicle, you're really never going to make contact with the ground. It really just comes down to when you're loading your bikes up here, that might be a little bit of a lift. And actually, talk about this too, the furthest point out you're going to have, even when you do fold this down into place, is most likely going to be this end of the shank here. It might stick out a little bit further than that, but that really is going to top out at 16 inches, which is really compact for most bike racks too. And if we're looking at how this is interacting on the back of our vehicle, it's not going to be blocking that much. Now, of course, when you have a bike on here, you're going to get something sometimes that kind of blocking your tail lights, but it's really going to depend on the size of your bike. But the main thing to watch out for is going to be this backup camera and license plate. The license plate, in my opinion, is going to be mostly visible, but I wouldn't recommend relying on your backup camera if you're backing up anywhere because you might hit something. So what I'd recommend doing is relying on your mirrors, and the same thing's going to go for your back window. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a solid choice for, like I said earlier, if you're looking for something that's very compact and isn't going to take up very much space in your garage or on the back of your vehicle. Now, if you're not a big fan of a hanging style bike rack because you don't like how this tire is moving around, or you don't like that you might have to use a bike adapter bar for some of your bikes, then I'd recommend checking out the Hollywood Rack's Destination Bike Rack. You can get that in a 4x carrier, and compared to other 4x carriers, it's relatively compact just like this, and it's going to do a great job at holding your bikes into place, and it's going to be great for anyone who's kind of starting out to go out riding with their family. But either way you go, I think they're both going to be great options, and I think this one's just going to be a little bit better at being stored in your garage. But that was just a look at some of the features of the Benton ShiftShow Bike Rack on the back of your 2024 Ford Expedition. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.